Greetings and peace to you all. My name is Umi. Thank you guys for joining me for this video. I especially want to thank all of you who have booked sessions. You've contributed to this work that I do or my channel by making donations. I greatly appreciate it. I'm excited about today's video because we're talking about the Divine Feminine. This is a numerological study using Gematria. I haven't done a Gematria video in a while, but if you're new to Gematria, you might want to check out some of the other videos I've done on master number 11 or 22. And I think I have a playlist on some numerology videos that you might find interesting as well. Just a quick message. I want to let you all know that I am doing 40% off of sessions for a short time. You can visit my website. That information is in the description to schedule your session. I know that many people are experiencing some economic insecurity because of world events, especially what's happening here in the States. And therefore, you may be a little bit more hesitant about booking certain services for yourself. So I've extended that 40% off for a while. And if you have any questions, you just want to reach out, you can email me. And again, that information is in the description. Okay, so to get started, it's important that you consider this chart. This chart is going to help you in following along with the video, which I do encourage you write this down, you challenge what you see here. And that way you can get a greater appreciation for what's being shared when you write it out yourself. So when looking at this chart, it's basically a letter correlates to a number. You can do the long method of this, which is writing out the full alphabet and just putting A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, and so forth. But I find this chart here to be particularly useful because the value is the same. No matter which method you use, the end value is going to be the same. So do what feels comfortable for you. Since the video is entitled The Divine Feminine, we're going to start there. The word feminine, as many of you know, has the number 9 in it. And this is interesting because 9 does denote completion in terms of 1 through 9 and the numbers repeat. So once we get to 9, this notion of completion has a lot to do with our level of spiritual insight and our level of awareness in terms of our existence. So now that we have our chart, that is going to be our reference tool throughout this video. Let's take a look at the very first word in the Divine Feminine. That is the word divine, and divine means of God. So when we do the math to the word divine, we get the number 9, which is interesting because in other videos I've talked about how 6 denotes a spiraling down, 9 denotes a spiraling up, 3 just denotes a cycle or a coil in which we can either go up or down. It's just that a coil. So energy can flow up or down. 6 denotes the material world. I did a video on the master number 33, which deals with magic and manifest and all things of the material, all things to do with bringing down into this physical realm. 9 would have more to do with ascending, rising up, leveling up. So in understanding that, the word divine seems appropriate. It's a level up from our human expression. It's beyond the physical. So I want to start with a basic word here, which is the word milk. And we're also going to look at the word breath. 2 things that you receive upon birth, very crucial things to your development. So when we are born, the very first thing we do is we take a breath. What's significant about this and its connection with the Divine Feminine is that without breath, there would be no life. We also do what when we're angry or upset? In order to calm down, we take a few deep breaths. The breath is the life force. So let's look at the Gematria to the word breath. 2 and 9 is 11, plus 5 is 16, 17, 18, 19, plus 8 is 27, and that equals 9. So we're going to look at the word milk. What does milk symbolize? Milk is not only the thing that we get from our mother's breast, our very first sustenance, our very first nourishment that we get upon birth, but the symbolism here is that milk is easily digestible. Milk is good for the body in essence when it's coming from our mother, and it represents simplicity. It represents what's easy to digest, what's easy to assimilate. And when we're talking about the Divine Feminine, it's not a logical, rational, complicated, overanalyzed energy. the divine mother, the divine feminine, is nurturing to the point where it makes everything easily digestible. So many of you have expressed to me how easy it is to understand certain concepts in the way in which I explain it. And a lot of that has to do with my appreciation for the milk, the simplicity. Not to say we can't at some point prepare to digest the meat of life, understanding the deeper things, the deeper secrets, what's sacred, the mysticism of life, but that comes in time. Many people are still here. They're at that level of just assimilating the milk, what's easy to digest. And that's the love that comes with the divine feminine, is that feminine energy is about teaching and healing and nurturing the child, not about creating this difficult, complex experience that makes it difficult for the child to learn and to assimilate knowledge or to assimilate in life. So the symbolism here, milk is 4, 9, 3, 2. 9 and 4 is 13, plus 3 is 16, 17, 18. So milk equals 9. So the very first two things you get upon birth, milk and breath, are symbolic, represent the divine feminine's gift to you upon your birth, upon entering into this earth, third dimensional realm. I want to look at a few words here that really embody the qualities and the fruit of the divine feminine. And this is going to set the tone for the duration of the video. We're looking at words such as reason, care, health, nurture, comfort, inspire, love, empath, hug, grow, service. These are just a few of the words that all equate to 9. You can absolutely write these out and do the math yourself, but look at the conclusive evidence that helps us to read more into the symbolism and the energy of the divine feminine. It's beautiful to know that there's a presence on the planet and a presence within each of us that embodies all of these qualities. So let's just take one, for example, the word care. When we're looking at this word, care, 3, 1, 9, 5. 9 and 1 is 10, plus 5 is 15, 16, 17, 18. Care equals 9, the divine feminine. So when we're talking about care, we can look at obviously what we care about in life, who we care about in life, how we care. How does that show up for yourself in self-care, and why this is so important? Because when we don't care about ourselves, when we don't care about the people around us or the world around us, things fall into disarray. Things fall into tension and division and a lack of love, a lack of those higher qualities. So care is crucial to what the divine feminine represents in humanity. We have to care for one another. We have to care about and for our planet. If we're lacking this quality of to care, then just look around. We see what the result is when people no longer take an interest in servicing one another and supporting, loving, nurturing one another, comforting one another. All those words I listed are great, but they don't matter if you don't care. So you have to care enough to want to embody these qualities. The divine feminine is about caring. So for me, myself, I'm a soul number 9. And the interesting thing is, although my life path is 8 and I can be about business and success and hard work, because I care so much, I often will sacrifice the pursuit of material things, the pursuit of success or money in order to be in service to others. Giving of my time freely, talking to people freely, not wanting anything in return. And that's all because of just a simple care. I care. So for many of you, see how this shows up in your life. What do you care most about? What are you pursuing that demonstrates what you care about? So whatever our focus and attention on generally is coming from the heart, because the heart is the motivation in a lot of what we do. And the divine feminine is going to help us to appreciate what it is to care and what happens when we fail to demonstrate these qualities in our lives. Although I said that the divine feminine is not exclusive to the female, this is a very important element to this, the womb man. Many of us know we say woman, but in essence, the womb man is a man with a womb. So the B was removed, but in essence, the womb man is the woman. And this representation or physical manifestation of the divine feminine does come forth by way of the womb man. So women in general are naturally endowed with these qualities. Do all women express it? Are all mothers good mothers? No. We know the obvious in our world today that not all women represent this loving, nurturing, caring, motherly, breastfeeding entity. But that's something that we veered away from. The woman denotes both positive and negative. So what are we saying here? You have the man and you have the woman. The woman and the man have this positive energy represented by the pineal, our consciousness, the light that keeps us online, thinking and functioning and being conscious beings. Well, what's unique about the woman is that she has the negative, which is the reproductive organ or the birth canal, in which she's able to release. That's this. She's able to birth. She's able to bring something from the consciousness into physical form, in the form of a human being. Whereas the male does not possess that. The male is both positive in the sense that his reproductive organs are external, they're electric, they represent force, they represent what is outward. So it's a positive charged principle, the male principle, the phallus or the penis. The female or the vagina represents what is inverted. It represents the void. It represents the negative polarity. So knowing that she has both positive and negative, the power to reason and the power to conceive within thought, the positive to bring about, but also the ability that is to manifest. So that is the negative polarity, which is unique about the woman, and it cannot be recreated in the man. Yes, we are living in unique times in which, there are changes that men can undergo to represent a woman, or at least embody to some extent feminine qualities, or to even go as far as to go through the change to make themselves a female. However, the natural innate qualities that come with being a woman is to represent the physical manifestation of the divine feminine. So we're trying to get back to this space or place of balance. This is not to judge anyone. This is not to create any type of confusion. Many people get upset about the notion of gender roles, but this is what's called natural law, something that no matter our feelings or what we want, we're built and designed a certain way. We're designed to embody the certain qualities within the masculine and the feminine. The feminine is the qualities of nurture and care and love and empathy and reason. She represents the bridge. Bridge equals 9, the bridge between the positive and negative. She is that bridge. But the beauty in this positive and negative is the balance that she attains, the ability to develop understanding and wisdom and care, because she understands within her psyche, within her body, these energies of give and take, the polarity of existence, which is natural and innate in the woman. So food for thought. We're going to look at one great example of the divine feminine, which is Gaia. Gaia is Earth. 7191, 16, 17, 18. Gaia equals 9. Mother Earth, she's beautiful. She's the jewel of our galaxy. Life, she sustains life. She provides the fruit in which we eat. Remember, plant and fruit equal 9. Milk equates to 9, because it's not only it's not only the woman that produces milk from her breast. You have many plants in nature that produce a milk or a type of sap. You have animals that produce milk for their young. So Gaia provides all that we need in order to survive. Gaia even provides the very breath on a macrocosm. So the as above, so below. So when you're born, you take your first breath, but as we live, what we're breathing is the oxygen that is being produced by the plants, and the plant kingdom that we're surrounded by provides us with the oxygen we need to live. Men can embody the qualities of nurture and care and love and empathy, but you have to recognize that within yourself and not scoff at it, not see it as weak, not see it as too feminine. It's important that you know as a man, you possess these qualities. When you honor the earth, when you take care of the earth, when you take care of your woman, when you take care of the parts of yourself that you receive as feminine, like your creativity, your self-expression, your ability to nurture and love and care care and to raise a family. These are the qualities of the divine feminine that can be expressed through the man. So see Gaia as that. See Gaia as the manifestation of the divine feminine, and why it's so important that we take care of her, that we love our planet, we keep it clean, we nurture our planet. When we spend time out in nature and ground our feet and we sit down on the grass, when we walk out and we marvel at the birds, the butterflies, the trees, the snow, whatever's in your environment, you are giving Gaia that honor. You are acknowledging the divine feminine presence. You are acknowledging the divine feminine presence, and therefore it's easier for you to embody these qualities, to be more nurturing, to be more loving. So speaking of love, this is a supreme quality of the divine feminine. Scripture says God is love. So when we're talking about love equaling 9, this is a part of our existence that makes it all worthwhile. When people say, what's the purpose of life? Why am I here? You know, life seems difficult. Once you experience love for the first time, whether it is something you enjoy, an experience you've had just being alive, or love you received from someone you care about, such as a parent, such as a lover, this grounds us. This helps us to appreciate this human experience, even if this shit just does not make sense. Something about love makes it worthwhile. Something about love invites us. Something about love inspires us. So remember these key words: service. Service is so important. It's why we find value in what we do when we are in service to others. As a soul number 9, that is the most rewarding thing for me, is to be in service to other people. Even when I get distracted by life, even when I'm concerned about financial matters or family issues, when someone calls or I have a session or I'm interacting with my family and I'm being in service to them, it brings a lot of joy to me. It's a very fulfilling experience for me. And therefore, I build on that knowledge of the value of service, the value of love, being empathetic, inspiring other people. When someone says, you inspired me to start a garden, or you inspired me to look more into astrology because I didn't know that I had these qualities or these challenges or these strengths. Some people want to express the divine feminine in a very superficial way by just simply embodying all things feminine. And that's not necessarily saying this is me embodying the divine feminine. Embodying the divine feminine means you show up for your community. It means that you forgive. It means that you care. It means that you nurture. It means that you love. It means that you see your life experience as grander than you. So the interesting thing about all of this is, let's look at ascension, for example. When we're talking about ascension, that is to rise up. And the word ascension, in essence, equates to 99. 9 plus 9 is 18. 1 and 8 is 9. So the word ascension equaling 9 in and of itself helps us to appreciate what embodying these qualities do for us. They rise us in consciousness. They lift us up. The rapture that is taught in many Christian circles, even though it's not scriptural, but the rapture is basically people's belief that at some point they will ascend in a cloud up to heaven to meet Jesus, or to some extent it's in that vicinity of people will rise up literally and ascend into the clouds, and they consider that to be the rapture, when God takes that chosen fold of believers and they ascend. And so the rapture, believe it or not, equates to 99, which equals 9. So this is interesting. Ascension and rapture both representing the qualities of elevation in consciousness, or rising up. So although people may not physically rise up and drift off into the clouds, there will be a time where people begin to elevate in consciousness and seemingly ascend beyond the superficial, the mundane, what they used to know, what they used to believe and think. And they may even feel a detachment and distance from friends and family, from beliefs that they used to have, from the old. They may quite literally feel, man, I'm going through a shift. And this is many people's how they describe it as an awakening. So this is profound. There are many, many examples of the divine feminine represented in our spiritual practices that we kind of overlook as being a part of the divine feminine, but we can isolate it and look at it as such in order to better understand it. But you also have to know, it's important to note that the divine feminine is not separate or exclusive from God, the omnipresent as we understand it. It's one and the same. So even just looking at woman equaling 9 and man equaling 1, 9 plus 1 equals 10. What is 10? 1. It's one. It's one and the same. But in isolating it and looking at it from the perspective of what it does for us, what it endows us with, how it empowers us, helps us to better ground this energy and know what it represents. It's not skewed in any way. So I'm not encouraging you to see God and the divine feminine as these separate entities. It's a union. They're one and the same. We have to understand how it is showing up in our lives. How are we expressing both? How are we expressing the God within in its unity? So that's important. So for those of you who feel, I want to be whole again, you have to revisit the fruitage of the Spirit, those qualities that represent joy and peace and goodness and faith, mild-tempered. That is the mother. That is the divine feminine. It's not violent. It's not aggressive. It's not domineering. It's not controlling. It's none of those. Remember, love heals all things. Love believes all things. So if the divine feminine is love and God is love, all of these qualities represent the divine feminine. You will not fail in life when you accept and embody these qualities, because they only lift us up. They only elevate us. We can't live in poverty and lack and in doubt and fear when we are operating with the qualities of the divine feminine awakened in us. When it's dormant, when we're not aware of these qualities, when we hate ourselves, when we resent femininity, whether you're a man or a woman, when you resent these feminine qualities, when we abuse the feminine within ourselves, then we find that we are confused. We find that we are in a place of lack. So there is a polarity to this, the way there's a polarity to all numbers within numerology. There is no polarity to the divine feminine, but there is a polarity to the energy of 9. So if 9 represents altruism and charity and giving and care and all of the qualities that I've mentioned, a lack of these, or the opposite of these, the opposite of care, which is, to neglect, to abandon, all of those things can manifest within the soul. So you have to be aware, if I don't care about people, I don't care about life, I don't care about this and that, then you are in essence going to begin to reflect the polarity of this 9 energy. What is 666 equal? 18. What is 18? 9. So it can definitely represent a spiraling down. It can represent dormancy. It could represent neglect. It could represent, the sorrows, the pain, the loneliness, and the fear, everything that is not the higher qualities of the 9 energy. Some other words to keep in mind related to the number 9 is the word sun. So I've often associated sun with the masculine energy because we're talking about light. Light is very electric. It pushes out. So often the sun has this sort of masculine representation in metaphysics and astrology, but in essence, it represents the portal by which the soul incarnates. So I know that can be debated, whether our souls travel through the sun and then come onto the planet, if it has anything to do with sun worship and all that. I'm not going to get deep into that, but I will say many people have accounts of near-death experiences where they speak of this light. It helps all of us on the planet to exist. Without the sun, we wouldn't have the melanin we have, we wouldn't have the fruits and the plants and just life in general. So the divine feminine does work in union with the solar energy in order to incubate and to house life. So we can see the connection with the sun and life and earth and the union between the two. So some very profound things to expound on when we're talking about the divine feminine and the study of the number 9. I also wanted to make mention that Venus, yes, the most feminine planet to do with fertility and beauty and sensuality and love and lust, equals 9 as well. In its lesser manifestation, of course, Venus can represent prejudice. It could represent vanity. It could represent exclusion, excluding those who we feel are not worthy or don't fit in. So we always want to try and represent the divine feminine in its highest quality by doing that self-examination, looking at ourselves, seeing how our outer environment, whether it be the cleanliness of your home, whether it be how it is that you feel about yourself and your ability to give yourself care and nurture and love, man or woman, how it is that we're being in service to others. This also can reflect to us just how much of the divine feminine energy is present and online within us, because it moves us to be in service. That is the mother's role. Once she brings life onto this planet and she gives birth, her role becomes to be in service to her children and to her family by providing that love and nurture, by providing inspiration and care. So we find that being in service is a richly rewarding path for those of you who want to delve more into that, to see your talents, gifts, and abilities manifest in service. Just reflect on your intentions. Welcome in the divine feminine. Ask and you shall receive. Spend time around the feminine energy, which can include women, mothers and aunties and nurturers and people that are very supportive. Again, if you're a man, you may find that your relationship with women may not be the best. That's something you can improve and work on in order to glance more into the divine feminine qualities, because the womb man is the physical manifestation of the divine feminine. And so when we support each other in balancing this, because not all women are balanced within themselves with the divine feminine. Don't assume every woman you meet is just supposed to be this divine goddess of knowledge and balance. She may need the support and encouragement from you as a man to support her. If you're a man, I know some of you identify with the LGBTQ community, and you're still figuring out your sexuality. You're still figuring out these energies that are unfolding within you, whether it's masculine energy or feminine energy. But if you want to establish a balance within yourself so that you're representing these energies in the best possible way, speak it out to the universe. Do that self-analysis. What are my intentions in wanting to really gravitate more toward the feminine energy? I wanted to share that with you all. This was sort of a brief or not so brief video on the divine feminine. If you are in touch with these energies and you would like to share your insights regarding the divine feminine, please share it in the comments. Share your personal experience and how it is that you interpret this energy. How can we bring it more and more into the world? The qualities that I was speaking of, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I do thank you guys for tuning in, and you can book a personal session. That information is in the description. Visit my website to schedule that session. I am doing 40% off of sessions for a short time. I do recognize that with the events happening in America and kind of all over the world, many people are economically insecure, and so therefore they may not be as willing to, book certain services for themselves. So I've taken 40% off to assist some of you who are wanting to talk to someone, wanting to get some clarity in your life. So thank you guys for tuning in, and until next time, peace.